it's always been our vision is how can we remove people from connecting with us as soon as possible.
Please cut all of that. Don't put any of that in the video. This has been the most incredible. Like, we have the most amazing community has come up around it. And I think it's fair to say a lot of the community found their way originally through the work that like Ben and Alex and Doug and Harry have done especially. And then it's now all of a sudden they're so invested in kind of our stories. Like from a community point of view, a community manager point of view, I can count all moderation we've done on one hand. That's how amazing the community is. Seriously.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And cosplays as well, immediately from the start.
Yeah. Cosplays, fan art, speculation. Like this whole thing started because of a load of people wanting to back us and support us. This isn't like privately funded money, you know. This is people putting their hard-earned cash and going, we believe in this project. And so we've always had that sense of this is what we do, but ultimately it has to be a thing that we share with people and they feel like they have sort of kind of creative input. So I always like to think that anything that we do in this space is we allow people the opportunity to play. So if we do stuff with our characters, it gives them the opportunity to draw it, or they want to kind of like write, I don't know, like fiction about it or whatever, like in their mind. I mean, don't do that. But like,
what kind of fiction?
Don't do fiction.
Kind of fiction?
But I think that's what we are. We are the opportunity to we play, but it gives people the opportunity to play in the way that they want to. And honestly, the response has been so cool. The art, my favorite thing to come out of this is the artwork. Is seeing how many talented really people we have in this community who are dedicating their time and talent to want to kind of have their own take on our characters. Like Mark Owen from Take That is a huge fan, and Matt Owen, who did our character art, has kind of created the base for these characters that we go forward with. But what the community has done in taking these characters further and reinterpreting them and filtering them through their own vision is absolutely incredible.
Also, I got back last night after having a few drinks and just sat and scrolled through the most recent comments. The one which I was like, that's so cool. And it was someone saying that they really love coming, they've been starting to watch more and more D&D, but they love coming back to Natural 6 because it was the one that got them playing D&D. They watched it and were like, you know what, I'm going to give it a go. And they were saying exactly something that we said right from the beginning, which is we have people at the table who are learning to play D&D, and seeing them learn to play D&D, seeing us all become more comfortable with the rules, become more comfortable with playing, they said in their comment, helped me understand and get more comfortable with playing it as well, and also understand that we keep in mistakes. Like we keep in mistakes at the table.
Make a lot of mistakes.
That happens when you're learning a game that is as complex as D&D. And seeing other people like own a mistake at the table gave them the freedom to also do that.
No, it has been like an absolute challenge, and I think for all of us as well that were learning, there were all different factors that kind of held us back from playing. So for me, it wasn't a mechanical thing. There was a role play element, and essentially we are making a show, and it is meant to be entertainment. And if you do look at kind of the really big channels out there, that role play is such a heavy element of what really hooks people in, and that for me has been the biggest fear. It's one of the reasons I haven't played. My partner plays with my friends in our kitchen, and I'd still never played until you invited me to do this, essentially. And it's been a bit like millennial therapy.
Yeah.
You've sort of had to confront the things that were holding you back, and just let go and actually try and have fun with it. Mm-hmm. But then that's testament to, I think, us as a team. It's been a really, really comfortable space to express yourself, to kind of try new things, and there's very, very little judgment. We might make fun of you afterwards, but it's not judgment. It's just a mild hazing.
Your character's literally just gone through a massive moment, a massive feat.
Yeah, you have. You've gone through a big moment. It's fun, isn't it?
It's a lot of fun.
It's fun. I like the fact that we've made it accessible for people. That's the cool thing. It's complete luck that all of us are good at different things. That's and you know, I always think of like creative Venn diagrams of what people are bringing to the whole, and I think as a group we display a lot of complementary skills that don't necessarily always overlap in the best possible way, and we're all learning from each other. Like I'm looking to Harry and Aoife to kind of go, okay, so Aoife is the most incredibly spontaneous improviser and is so brilliant and so deft because he's so experienced at playing this, and also plays a charisma build essentially. So it's really fun to kind of watch her and learn from her, and then and each one of us looks and goes, okay, that's a really cool thing that they did. I'm going to try and steal that and reinterpret that through my own character. And because we also play such hugely different characters with different personalities, none of this is planned. This is all we're all just finding our feet, and I think maybe that's what we're accessible to people, is we're trying to be as human as possible in this and go, listen, we want to build this with you, and we want to build this together, and sometimes we're not going to have great days, and then we lift each other up and do really cool stuff. Some of us don't enjoy sessions. Some of us come away from sessions and go, I didn't think that was very good. We watch it back, and so like some of our favorite episodes are the least favorite episodes of like our Discord, and then the ones that we came away going, I don't think that's very good. Did we let people down? And that's always what we're thinking, not did we let ourselves down, we let the community down. They come away going, it's favorite episode so far. Yeah. And we're like, what's going on? And it shows you that, like, when you're in the weeds, you don't know what's good. So all you can do is be honest, service each other, and then hopefully people enjoy it.
Thank you for asking. Yes, we have actually. We have been working with Wizards, and actually have been had some early access to the new rulebook. We have done a one-shot, so we have played about a 3.5-4 hour session, which was same characters but adapted to a new rule set.
And non-canon.
So when that comes out, by the way, you won't be spoiling the story if you want to see them in action. For us, we felt that was the best way to figure out what we wanted to do with it, was to actually play with it. We are adopting some of them. I play human fighter, so if you know anything about the new rule set, I benefit greatly from the new rules.
It's like a whole different build. It's like
a whole different thing. So what we're doing, we're not doing a straight switch. So the DM has come to us, so Harry has come to us and said, look, from this new rule set, the kind of things you like, the kind of things you want to adopt, I will narratively find a satisfying way for this to make sense for your character to adopt it. So we're kind of hybriding for now. Obviously, there's a few different things. Some people have got like college of something, just in case we've never really said it. And obviously that's not in the current rule set, so we have to be slightly careful anyway. But yeah, a hybrid rule. We've already narratively written some changes in with some recent filming, which was really
so well
executed.
I mean,
that's how good Harry is. So yeah, we're excited for them, but some characters do have much bigger changes than others. It just depends on your class. And a low-level fighter, 100%, it's all about my changes.
Rogue was already pretty well-rounded and decent, and so it's minimal changes, and there's it's more like flavor stuff that kind of adds a bit of flavor rather than any kind of drastic changes to the actual class.
We've never really been rules goblins, and we've never been kind of like, this is really important to stick to this, because ultimately this is entertainment and a story, and it's a world that Harry's created, so he can do whatever he wants. We can do whatever we want. We're taking the rules of D&D and we are transposing them into the key of Reliquiae, and it's not a problem, this new rule book. If anything, it's an opportunity to play and enhance the experience, and the ways in which you will see our characters adopt the new rules will be narratively satisfying. Everything has to have a reason. We have this new mechanic, which we might talk about in a bit, but like the deck of many friends. Well, okay, let's talk about it. The deck of many friends is this amazing mechanic that we brought in. It's a mechanic, but the most important thing is that it is narratively connected to us. So we have used it. Now, it was very exciting to use, and for those who don't know, it is this opportunity for us to take on the talents and use the talents of a lot of friends that we have in the D&D space, in the video game space, and they've lent their character skills, their creativity to craft a character in a deck of cards that can replace the role of any role that we don't particularly like, and their character will come into play, potentially positively or negatively. And the D&D, well, the D20 roll that they rolled will replace whatever role it is, and that is a risk. And it's very exciting. It's narratively connected to Radian, my character. I can't wait for it to happen. We've got the talent we've got involved is incredible. You can go to,
it's silly.
It would be embarrassing to kind of just go as all of these people, because it's 22 cards, every single one of them a banger. Mark Owen from Take That did the music. Matt Owen, our character artist. Yeah, Mark, if you're out there, get the band back together. Come on, we're going. Matt did our character art, and their beautiful tarot decks, and stunning.
Also, I just got to say, I really like that phrase, the use of transposing it into the key of Reliquie. I liked it.
You're welcome. You can keep it, guys.
Actually stemmed originally from the Kickstarter. We knew we were coming into a space that it's not overcrowded, but it's not an empty space. There are incredibly talented D&D groups already out there. So when you're trying to do something, you can't just rely on, well, we're great people. Obviously, people are going to want to watch us. You're going to need to have a little something extra, and especially with a Patreon, you are trying to show that we have a little something extra on the table. And I believe it came via Harry, the Deck of Many Friends.
It was a conversation that we all had about how we can add value to our Kickstarter, and then we can feel like people are going to actually have an active say in the creation of Reliquie and the creation of this story. And we had some people who took up on it, which was really, really cool.
Yeah, sorry, I think I said Patreon, I meant Kickstarter. My entire world is now about Patreon. But yeah, it was basically to give the Kickstarter a little bit of extra flavour and to give some people a chance to be involved. And it was sort of like, how do you take the people who are backing you on Kickstarter and how do you put them into a game where they can't necessarily come and join you around the table? So how do you reward those people? And the cards essentially allow that. They're allowing people to creatively impact the story and have a character in the world with us, but without necessarily coming around the table and rolling with us. It stemmed from that. We did have some Kickstarters join us in the Deck of Many Friends, but then after the Kickstarter finished, we did look at it and like, well, it's 22 cards. There's some space in here. And then everyone was able to put their heads together, and the little black book, the Rolodex of contacts that the team has is alarming and stunning at exactly the same time.
What I love about it is that, like, for all we know, once we've used all the cards in the deck, who knows what happens with that deck? Does the deck respawn? Is there opportunity for more? Does it go? Does it disappear? There's Mark Owen.
Mark Owen?
It's just a deck entirely of Mark Owen, who has made characters called Mark Owen, and they all just look exactly the same, like Mark Owen.
So Harry actually had, with everyone who was in the Deck of Many Friends, Harry actually had several meetings, all of them, or calls, depending on where they lived, to actually help them not just understand it, but like, who is your character? How do you want them to look? What do you want them to do? What's their attitude like? As if you are making a character around the table. So it's not this throwaway thing where we've just assigned someone's name to some randomly generated art that we're like, we'll make, this one will be a gnome and this one will be a tiefling. They've actually created those characters and built them alongside our DM Harry, and then Mark has brought them to life with the artwork. It's incredible.
Like that first use that we've just had of it, Harry bringing that character to life, it just kind of came through with such a strong sense of identity, like immediately in that space. And it was, just to suddenly have this new identity just appear and kind of have an impact on what's going on. It was.
It couldn't have gone better. I was so nervous about the first draw of it, and it happened and it worked, and it like narratively made a lot of sense. It was really beautiful. For better or for worse, we pull a card, and afterwards Harry went through the notes and went, this is what the creator gave to me, this is the attitude, this is the tone, this is what they wanted them to say. And they had notes on how they want them to look, and of course they're the ones who've rolled that D20. They're the ones who are actively having that say. So whoever we chose has had an active say, and a huge one, like a big one. And there are still 21 cards left to pull, and like how nervous we all were for pulling it. I dread to think what we're going to have to do again.
I know, yeah.
And some of them aren't going to work.
It's a desperate situation thing.
Yeah, because we do have some low numbers, we have some high numbers, and it's all going to be dependent on whether like someone rolls high or rolls low. Like if we can do it against an enemy roll or for one of ours to make it better, it's really, really huge.
Like Harry was saying, there's going to be moments where, depending on if the roll goes in your favor or not, 'cause obviously we're trying to either do better or get an opponent to roll lower. If it goes in your favor or not, some of them have mechanics, things that, they impact in the world, which if you aren't successful, could actually be it turns against you.
Yeah.
So then if you're already in a desperate situation, it could get even worse.
We're really lucky because there's one card which is he's like, one of them is potentially total party kill.
Yeah.
If it goes badly. So I was like, oh no, Harry, that's not good. But that's what the creator wanted, and that's what the beauty of this whole collaboration's been.
I think the nice thing about running it like that is what you don't want to introduce to a game is a mechanic that is so overpowered. Why can't we just pull from the deck of many friends all the time that we want to I don't want to deal with this mob, I don't want to deal with these ads, I'm just going to pull from the deck. So by having that, it's always a gamble for us. Is it genuinely worth doing this? Because it could turn on us, and it's now stopping it from being OP, and every time you get that little flutter, the heart goes and you're like, is this really the right thing to do? And that, I think, again, talking about making something narratively satisfying, that is how Harry has completely thought about the deck, not just as it's for Kickstarter, because we need the money. It's like, no, this is going to work, and it's going to fit, and it's going to make the game richer for it without breaking it.
Yeah. Which is your favourite part?
We don't know anything about.
We know
the artwork, and we know who's made them.
Yeah.
But we don't know anything about the character itself, what they will be doing, their attitude, anything. So we can pick like favorite artwork.
Yeah. I mean,
but like that's it. And then let me tell you, that will change my opinion. If it's not good, that's my opinion changed. So actually, again, Harry sort of kept a sort of really gentle distance from it to help us have that air of mystery so that we don't feel too comfortable with it, too connected to it. So again, then when we're using it in game, it still has that like, do I want to?
Artwork-wise, what are your favorites?
I really like, because I think it's really cool, I really like Raoul Coley's card.
Yeah.
Raoul Coley, brilliant actor, is kind of obsessed with Clint Eastwood, and I could pick out his card immediately because he's essentially just designed Clint Eastwood with a crossbow. But I think each one of them is, I think we guessed pretty correctly, most of the people, because you can see it reflected in their personalities and what they like. My favorite one, obviously, Austin Wintory. You'll know Austin straight away. Austin famous for obviously composing the music to Journey amongst many other things, and his character, we went, that's Austin's. Each one of them has brought their own individual personality, and they're all very, very beautiful, and Matt's done an amazing job in kind of taking what they've done and designed it in his own art style that seems kind of like to continue the through line of existing in the same world as our own characters. What about yours?
What's your favorite one?
I was going to say Austin's because I'm a massive fan of Austin's work anyway, and his you'll know it when you see it. Matt Mercer's actually I really liked. I really like Matt Mercer's. I cannot remember who did the rabbit, the hair.
Oh.
Whose is that? Whose is that one?
I think it's also the movement.
The movement.
I
think the style.
Is really
I can't remember whose.
Yeah,
I can't remember whose it is, but the artwork is so good, and in fact, everybody who's in the deck received one. I made 30 physical copies of his deck, all with like gold leaf foil on the back, all printed in like branded Nat 6 bags and shipped. There are 30 physical decks in the world.
I think mine's Anjali Bhamani.
Yeah.
I love hers.
Can we just say Troy Baker doing the most dramatic one you've ever seen?
Yeah.
I don't know what his card does, but it doesn't look good for any of us.
That's the one I'm scared of pulling. I don't want to pull Troy Baker's card.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so moody. It's so in the drama, in the feels. I was like, wow. Is it Valis?
Valis?
Yeah, it looks scary as hell.
And it's just super, just sort of like profile shot, kind of dramatic.
Yeah. Drama.
It's got a blood drip on the card.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I don't know what that means.
What does that mean?
What does it mean?
What does it mean? Where's the number?
Yeah, it's a bit worrying.
The blood drip mason. What does it mean?
Yeah. So my favorite bit about Radian personally is a mistake that I made in session 0, the first ever thing, that has kind of been a through line. Has been so. I love mistakes, and I love mistakes kind of rearing their head, and I like Radian to continue to make mistakes until he can be a better character, and trying to hypnotic gaze a basilisk in session 0 has been one of the most narratively satisfying arcs for Radian, of like, God, he's trying to use hypnotic gaze again. Because we didn't know it was a basilisk at the time.
Look at all these stone things. You didn't know it was a basilisk at the time. Look at this big lizard creature and all these stone people around it.
Yeah, because it's so
in the eyes.
It's such a stupid. It's so stupid. It's so arrogant. It's so misguided. It's so Radiant, and it's from that moment that I think his character kind of grew from making very stupid and impulsive choices that have kind of like guided the choices that he makes. And then there's another one where he rolls a nat 1 and thinks someone's in love with him, which is another thing.
That's brilliant.
But yeah, those are my 2 favorites.
So for as much as I am new to the roleplay side of D&D, my character has probably... it's been heavy. This arc has been very heavy on my character. So I've actually had some incredible moments, and it's so much testament to Harry as well, and kind of the environment that he makes for you to act like this in. So my character's had a couple of interactions with an NPC that we've actually kicked everybody else out of the room for, because it was so much of Indelian's secret and backstory that Harry was like, no, all of you, get up, get out. So it's just me and Harry having this back and forth. Obviously now the secret is out there, but it's one of her brothers. And like, Harry has made everything so real, and those little moments where, you know, I'm starting to connect with characters, starting to feel like Indelian. Then in the last 2 episodes that we filmed, as the time we're recording this interview has not released, there are some utterly incredible moments with family and trying to say you're sorry and trying to connect with something that you thought you wanted to run away from. Between that and I've got to, what was it?
I've got an idea, I want to say sorry.
That's not an idea.
That's what. Yeah, I love the interplay between all of us. Anyway, what's yours?
Yeah, you've had some amazing stuff.
I think my favorite bit so far has been everyone thinking they know and then here, like, obviously they don't know what I's just said in Kobold because they don't speak Kobold. But the players around the table just thinking they know I, and then hearing I actually speak in his own dialect, and suddenly realizing, oh, he's kind of a bit different actually. Like that, like, you know, it's that thing of someone having a different personality when they speak in different languages, and they say like, oh, I'm way more outgoing when I'm in this language, or I'm way more serious when I speak in this language.
The obviously, because we've done however many episodes, the greatest hits moments are kind of many and numerous. My favorite I moments. Obviously, rolling a nat 1 when you're trying to read.
Yep. Totally. And forgotten that I can't read a couple of times as well. Actually.
Yeah, because you just love books normally.
Yeah.
And then also there is a moment when, for some reason, we sent I and Kelnis to go and try and convince a council to send us on a mission, and we had like 2. It was like letting the kids in to go and have a conversation with NATO.
Yeah, like the most important group of people you could possibly speak to.
Yeah.
And I tried to prove my value by showing them how fast I can run.
Cool. Half past 12.
It's not 1:30, honey. We've not been here that long.
Yeah. I'm a little bit hungover, I'm sorry.
I was so happy with how drunk you got last night. You were so happy.
I started twerking.
You were running around like a little boy.
I ate a whole chunk of beef in one go. It was
you did. You put a whole thing in your
dry.
mouth.
It was very
several
dry.
whole things in his mouth, and that was the problem.
I think it was on the table, it was on a plate, to be clear.
By the way, we're
just
professionals.
Basically just face first, straight down, and then it was the driest thing to chew. It was so.
It was
dry.
like watching a snake unhinge its jaws.
Yeah.
Like a whole egg.
You never realise how much moisture you need in your mouth
Do you know what I
to
mean?
eat something.
Yeah, I kept having.
No.
to-
This is what it's like. This is what a lot of the BTS stuff can't go in. So I have often in my life tried to impress people by shoving as many things in my mouth as possible because I am an idiot, as are you,
Yeah,
as you did last night.
yeah.
And like it's like someone would say to you, "I bet you can't fit all those things in your mouth," and I go, "Well, I bet I can."
Yeah, and
But
I
then-
definitely back myself. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and it's like I could do it, but the thing that I'm lacking and that moment is the moisture. So I have to wait for my mouth to salivate
Yep.
to start breaking it
Yep.
down.
Yep. Think of lemons. Think of licking lemons, and your mouth starts to salivate. There you go.
So there's
Like cracker challenge where like you see we put butter on the bottom, right? And the
Yeah.
other person can't do it.
it's so dry.
Yeah.
What about you?
Oh, I'm normal. So I'm normal, so this is fine. I don't sit around the table and see how large.
You
the
don't.
Red Bull I
You
can put in my
whisper
whole
to
mouth.
us. You
What do we
go,
have? What do we
"Ooh."
call them? We had 3 sides. Of the
So
table.
it was up to the B. It was balls
Balls
deep,
deep.
and then just the rim.
Different sizes of Red Bull. How much can you fit in your mouth?
Yeah, so you went almost balls deep. You did get the rim in on the extra
Yeah.
large
Yeah.
one. Yeah, I mean, I'll give him his dues. It's impressive.
Thank you for backing us on Kickstarter, so we can see how many cans of
Subscribe to
Red
us
Bull
on
we can
Patreon
fit
if
in
you
our
want to
mouth.
see Ben go balls deep.
Yeah, also, I like our Patreon because
I love our
we've
Patreon.
basically said, here's a platform of us being us. So, if you just want to watch us on YouTube, you can watch
Yeah,
the
like-
D&D content and that's what you get. But like Patreon, we've kind of gone, if you enjoy us as people and you want us to see us being honest with each other and playing and being silly, that's the content that we give you. We're going to give you behind the scenes stuff. We're going to give you like additional stuff that complements the story that you're already watching. But ultimately, you're going to see us just kind of being idiots and being friends.
Yeah.
And that's what our Patreon is. If you like us being friends, then pay money and you can see us doing
If you
weird
also want
stuff.
to sup from the chalice of crazy, join us on Patreon.
Yeah, do it.
Good, awesome. Thank you so